So, Mr. Boldiszar, we're on our way right now to Camelback Ranch.
Yes, sir.
For the Dodger spring training. What's the plan for action for today?
We are going to meet up with Eric Stephen of TrueBlueLA here in about 45 minutes. We're going to interview him at his favorite spring training restaurant. Apparently it's called Federico's Mexican. We have not been there, so that'll be fun.
Alright.
And then might meet up with the Seagard Sports Square crew. I can't say that right. Seagard Squared Sports. Man, they got to change that name. It's just too long. Tell them I said that.
We'll see about that. But it'd be cool to link up with the guys because you've been getting a chance to call in and pretty much talk sports with them for a good few months now, right?
Yeah. I've been calling in every Tuesday night, right around 7 o'clock, to catch up on all the Lakers and Dodgers news going on, and even the Ducks and Kings. So it'd be nice to see them in person, see what their operation looks like in person.
Right.
And I think if the weather holds up, we're going to catch a Dodger game, but we'll see.
Look at how it is right now. We just got in on a day where it hailed, it snowed, it rained between California and Arizona. Right now it's just nothing but cloud cover all over. A little bit of blue sky peeking through. Along with Mr.
Todd Boldiszar.
Now we're here from SportSpeak Radio, giving you a SportSpeakLA Exclusive. We're staying outside of Federico's Mexican food here in Glendale, Arizona. And why are we here, Shad?
We are just outside of Camelback Ranch to meet up with Eric Stephen of SB Nation's TrueBlueLA to get his opinion on the Dodgers, Juan Uribe, the pitching rotation, Yasiel Puig. Basically, he's been here since mid-February, so he's the man to ask all the questions.
And a good thing about what we do at SportSpeak Radio for all of you guys out there, we want to give you the writer's point of view, and we want you, the fans out there, to kind of chime in, talk to us, let us know what you think. Do you guys match up with the pro writers? Do you match up with the stars out on the field? We want to get that whole opinion to kind of see if do we butt heads, or are we all in agreement here, right?
Absolutely, and we heard your questions. We pulled you on Facebook. You gave us some good responses, so hopefully we got you all taken care of.
All right, so we're getting ready to head inside. We're here in Glendale, Arizona. Finally, after a stormy night, the sun is out.
Sun's here.
Yeah, we're getting ready. And after this, we're going to head over to the game, right?
We're going to catch some of the Angels game and possibly some of the Dodgers game out on the lawn with our friends from Seagard Squared Sports. So stay tuned for that.
All right. So right now here with SportSpeak Radio, we have a SportSpeakLA Exclusive with Mr. Eric Stephen from SB Nation, TrueBlueLA. See, I need to get this out of my mouth. I think I'm hungry, so we're going to go ahead inside first.
Hey, Dodger fam. We're here with Eric Stephen of TrueBlueLA, and we're out here near Camelback Ranch capturing the Dodgers during spring training. We've listened to your questions. We plan on asking Eric some of those today. And how you doing today, Eric?
Very good, Todd.
Doing good. So, Eric, you've been out here for how long?
Since February 11th, so we're going on almost exactly a month.
Okay, and what do you think of the Dodgers so far in the spring? What's sort of some of the highlights and the low points so far?
I may be jinxing this, but one of the high points is that they haven't really had huge injury problems so far. Carl Crawford is coming back from surgery. He's been dealing with nerve irritation in his left forearm, so that's what they're dealing with, and they're taking it real slow with him. He actually might not be ready opening day. If I had to bet, I would say he's probably not going to be, but it shouldn't be too long after that when he's ready. But that's been sort of the only major injury, so that's one of the real positives. The other one would probably be Yasiel Puig. Everyone just wanted to see this guy, and getting to see him in person, he's built like an NFL linebacker. He has all the tools in the world.
There's a lot of raw talent.
Yeah, just great to see. And like I said, none of us had seen him. Maybe a little bit in Rancho Cucamonga last year, but just to get to see him on this stage, that's been a real plus so far.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned him because a lot of our fans have asked me, they've asked us on Twitter and they've asked us on Facebook, does he have a real shot, does Puig have a real shot of making the opening day roster if Crawford is on the shelf?
I would say no at this point. I mean, there's a chance where he could just blow the doors off the rest of the spring and continue to sort of do what he's been doing, but I think the management, Don Mattingly, Ned Colletti, everyone, they just want to really take it slow with him. He didn't play for about a year and a half before they signed him because he defected from Cuba, and then they signed him out of Mexico, I believe. And then he played 23 games last year and then 20 games in the Winter League. So we're talking real limited baseball experience. They just want him to get some sort of games under his belt before they throw him to the Wolves in the majors. So like he could probably, like I talked to someone, he could probably hit right now. He might be able to hit 20, 25 home runs, but he hit well under 200, and doesn't have the eye just yet. So that's sort of the fear, and they just want to get him some experience. But I think he's not too far away at all. No, not at all.
So you think he'll probably start out AA this year, maybe AAA?
That's the guess.
Maybe?
AA is probably, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we're also talking starting rotation, and the Dodgers are in a rare occasion where they actually come into the spring with too many starters. A lot of people will consider that a plus, but there might be some trade chips there. They've got a couple of extra left-handers. They've got Capuano and Lilly, and Lilly's coming off of an injury. They've got Aaron Herring, who's drawing trade interest. I know the Orioles were mentioned in the mix recently. Who do you see them moving, and who do you see them keeping?
Yeah, that's a good question. They do have 8 starters, and there's only 5 spots, and they're leaning toward possibly keeping a 6th starter as sort of a long man relief guy. But really the one that kind of fits that of the 8 is who maybe is on the back end of that is probably Chris Capuano. Fits a little better in the bullpen. There's like an outside chance that Hyunjin Ryu could be in the bullpen, but I think they're still pretty high on him as a starter, and they're to the point where he has sort of routines that he's used to from pitching in Korea, that they're not even making him change. So I think if they were concerned about results or anything with him, they would make him throw or ask him to throw bullpens between starts. They haven't done so. They're letting him. They're almost giving him the veterans treatment, where letting him prepare for a season as he knows how. So I think they want him to start. They signed him to start, and then basically Chad Billingsley coming off the torn elbow ligament. He had the 2 PRP treatments last year, rather than surgery. So, and he's, I mean, knock on wood, he's still healthy. So, I can't say they planned for him to be hurt, but they probably in the back of their head probably did. But he's been healthy, so I would imagine Billingsley, Ryu fill out the back of that rotation after Kershaw, Greinke, and Josh Beckett.
Okay. And something that was also interesting for this spring, for the first time, Sandy Koufax is back in the fold as a kind of a training instructor. And what have you seen of Koufax? How is he basically working on the rotation to make the Dodgers pitchers better?
Well, first of all, it's just amazing to see him wearing the old Dodgers number 32 again. He suited up as a sort of a coach for about 10 days when he was here. But the coolest part, or one of the coolest parts for me, was the first day he got there, because it was unannounced, really. And I believe we were watching batting practice or something on the backfields, and then all of a sudden you hear this whoosh, and like all the fans sort of flock to this one area, and they're moving fast.
They're running.
And I was saying, okay, it has to. We couldn't tell who it was, but it has to be for one of 2 number 32s. It's either Sandy Koufax or Magic Johnson, and so it ended up being Sandy. And like, man, I felt bad for him a little bit because he had to sort of get through the crush of people a little bit, but man, he's still beloved. He's such almost mysterious in that he's a pretty private guy, not around a ton. So just to see him out there and out and about was a great thing, and it's sort of good to see him.
Big pressing question that everybody seems to want to ask is the status of Juan Uribe. He's basically been kind of a bust since they brought him over. He's a former Giant, so he's already got 2 strikes against him. What are the chances they keep him throughout the year? Is he even going to make the opening day roster?
Yeah, I mean, every time I try to predict the demise of Juan Uribe, it's a futile effort. So I've sort of stopped doing that, and I'm at the stage where I won't believe he's off the roster till he's actually off the roster. So, yeah, I mean, if we didn't have Andre Jones from a few years ago, then Juan Uribe would be the gold standard for like bad free agent signings. But he's in the final year of a deal. He's making $7 million this year, and he just, like I said, hasn't hit at all. I saw a stat the other day where in 2010, when he won the World Series with the Giants, he hit 3 home runs in 9 games at Dodger Stadium.
I think we all remember that.
And then in his 2 years as a Dodger, he's played 80 games at Dodger Stadium, and he has 4 home runs.
4 home runs.
So he's basically,
and one of them is off of R.A. Dickey, too. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
The knuckleball. He killed that pitch.
And, yeah, that probably should have invalidated his Cy Young, don't you think?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
But, no, so back to Uribe. They're playing him at first for the first time in his, 15-year professional career. this year, sort of as a backup. So he's basically going to back up at all 4 infield positions, and he's actually really good defensively still for all the flack. But he really does have to hit, and I think he's going to make the opening day roster, but I think he's going to be on a short leash. So, but like you said, every time I try to predict it, I thought it was going to happen last year. It just never does, so we'll see.
What would be the reasoning of keeping him this far? I mean, we were ready to dump him last year with the Dodgers' surplus of spending and their availability. They could just cut him and still pay him his $7 million, and they could probably afford it. Why did they keep him on the roster?
Sure, but I guess the question then becomes like, who do you put on in place of him? You can make an argument for like Alex Castellanos as an outfielder, but I think he has an avenue to sort of make the team with Uribe on anyway. Especially for the first, I think it's 10 games or so of the season. They don't necessarily need a 5th starter right away.
That's true.
Because of some off days. So they can put a 5th starter on the DL, get an extra roster spot for about 10 days. And that's sort of how Josh Lindblom made the team last year. And then he kind of stayed on the team, until he was traded. But the point being, once you get your foot in that door, like Castellanos can, he could stay there by just continuing to produce. And that's outside of that, they don't really have a glut of infielders who are really appreciably better than Juan Uribe. So and he does play defense. He's good defensively. So I think that's why they keep him around. And then they're just, I think, praying that he sort of finds his power display that he had, in his 2 years in San Francisco.
Give us a little bit of a plug about you and what you do, and we'll wrap up.
Sure. Write about the Dodgers. I'm here all spring. I cover all the home games as well. Right at TrueBlueLA.com.
And that's TrueBlueLA is his Twitter handle as well. Great stuff there. You can always count on him for fresh news. We're SportSpeakLA, SportSpeakLA, and we're out here with Eric Stephen. More to come, just a little bit.